Good morning, brothers and sisters. For those who don't know me, my name is Zach Holcomb, and for those who do know me, it's been a long time since I've been able to see and hear from a lot of you. So it is really nice to be able to reach out and say hi, even though I can't see anyone on the other side of the screen. Um, and so I'm really grateful for this chance that I have to share my experiences over the last 22 months, since my mission experience was cut short 2 months because of the situation worldwide. Um, and so I wanted to be able to take this opportunity to share some of my more unique experiences. I think that I had as a missionary, some of the more unique lessons that I learned. And coincidentally, the two stories that I wanted to share both take place in a ward called La Isla Trinitaria. And this word is, well, it was one of the most beautiful and amazing wards I ever served in. It it was very unique in the way that it was known for being one of the most dangerous wards in the entire mission. And and I can talk about that freely now because my mom's not going to freak out about it as much. But while I was in this ward, several amazing things happened. The first of which, a very unique experience happened for the entire church in Ecuador. As President Nelson did his South American tour, he stopped by the capital of Ecuador and broadcast a message to the entire country. And this was very unique because it was the first time a president of the church had visited since President Hinckley dedicated the Guayaquil Temple in the late 1990s. And so this was a very unique experience for the entire church in Ecuador. And one thing that really stuck out in everyone's minds was the simplicity of the message that he shared. It was a very simple message that's only 3 words in English and Spanish. It was guardáis los mandamientos, or keep the commandments. And he went on for 20 minutes talking about these basic commandments that we learn as primary kids. That we're supposed to keep the Sabbath day holy. We're supposed to read and pray daily, read in the scriptures and pray daily. They're supposed to pay tithing, fast offering, all these basic commandments. And it was such a simple message, but you could interpret it in so many ways. The fact that a prophet decided to come to Ecuador for the first time in over a decade, over 2 decades, and that was his entire message, was keep the commandments. And that message had added meaning when only 2 weeks later, due to economic and political crisis in the country, the entire country was in riots for 2 weeks. And it was bad enough, especially in our sector, being one of the more dangerous sectors, that we weren't able to leave our apartment for 2 weeks. In fact, they actually had to evacuate us out of our sector for the second week. And so while the entire country was in this state of unbalance, people weren't able to work, the economy was fluctuating a lot, the church members that all heard the message had that foundation, that very recently placed foundation that they could stand on. That was that simple message of keep the commandments. And especially as missionaries going out and visiting the members, we were able to see their grown testimonies as they focused on keeping the commandments, especially during these difficult and trying times. And many people had amazingly spiritual experiences. Their testimonies grew. They were kept safe from harm, both economical and physical, during these extremely difficult times. And that was the first major lesson I think that I want to share with y'all, is that just the simplicity of that message, keep the commandments, can be such a shield in our day-to-day lives. That God really does give us those commandments to protect us. Another lesson from that was the importance of a latter-day prophet. That President Nelson really does know what he's doing. That he is called of God, and that we should listen to any message he or any of the other general authorities give. because they are pertinent to us during our times. And the second experience I wanted to share is what I consider my personal conversion. And even though I grew up in the church, I was born a member, my mom was born a member, my dad's been a convert for many years, I don't think I was ever truly converted to the gospel until this experience on my mission. We're still serving in this ward in La Isla Trinitaria. There came a time when I questioned my testimony, and especially my ability to testify to the truthfulness of the Book of Mormon. Because especially reading about past prophets, about apostles who could testify with such certainty that the Book of Mormon was true, I just felt that hunger to be able to know and to testify with that same power. And so that became the focus of my personal study for the next 2 weeks. After this desire came over me. And so it was the same thing every day. We would do our personal studies, and I would always start my personal study with a prayer, asking God, is the Book of Mormon true? I would read from the Book of Mormon, and then I would end my personal study with a prayer saying, is the Book of Mormon true? It was the same thing at night. Before I went to bed, it was, Heavenly Father, is the Book of Mormon true? And this went on for 2 weeks. And I never felt like I got a solid, recognizable response until the end of those 2 weeks, when I started my personal study with that same prayer, is the Book of Mormon true? And after reading in the Book of Mormon for a bit, I stopped and just started pondering, especially about Joseph Smith, about his history, about his story. And especially thinking about just him as a person, his character, his motives. And I don't completely know how, but I do know that while I was pondering this strong, this knowledge came upon me that Joseph Smith really was called of God, that he had no other motives than the well-being of all of God's children when he translated the Book of Mormon and restored the Church of Jesus Christ. That the Book of Mormon really was a true record, written and translated by prophets, and brought to us through the power of God. And thanks to that experience, I was able to testify for the rest of my mission with increased power and certainty to the truthfulness of the Book of Mormon. And again, there are several lessons that can be learned here. The first is one of the most important lessons that I think any of us can learn as God's children, that God really does answer our questions. And it might require us to be patient, it might require us to be persistent. But God really will give us direct answers when he feels it's what we need and when we do it with the righteous cause. Because I can testify that that's what he did for me. He gave me that knowledge that the Book of Mormon is true and that Joseph Smith was a prophet. And I'm extremely grateful for the experiences, for the lessons that I learned from all of these experiences that I had as a missionary. And I'd just like to end with my testimony in Spanish. Bueno, yo sé que esa es la iglesia verdadera de Jesucristo, que realmente el libro de Mormón es verdadero, que José Smith fue un profeta verdadero de Dios. Testifico que realmente Dios tiene un plan perfecto para cada uno de sus hijos, que realmente es un plan de felicidad, de perfección. Testifico que no hay un gozo más grande ni verdadero que el de seguir de guardar los mandamientos y seguir un profeta de Dios. Y de esto testifico en el nombre de Jesucristo. Amén.